Alien Isolation is a near-perfect game. It did so many things right, but a few aspects hold it back from the game it could have been. Don't get me wrong, this game is an extremely good game. I really like this game. I just have to pick apart everything bad about it to make this a good video. Also, all my experience with the game took place on hard mode, and you can see highlights of the full playthrough on my video, Alien Isolation, in one video. The thing that makes this game so great is suspense. I have a friend playing through the game right now, and every 10 minutes they say, "My god, this game is suspenseful." Everything that makes it suspenseful is great. The atmosphere, the music, and specifically the alien make it so good. First, let's talk about the atmosphere. Having never watched the movie, I cannot compare it, but I have heard from others that the atmosphere resembles that of the original film. It does feel very sci-fi, while still feeling like it took place in the 70s, mainly due to how screens and androids look. There are other parts that have a different feel entirely, such as the flashback sequence, which feels even older, and the alien nest, which feels like a place you don't want to be. I've watched other reviews of this game, and I've noticed it's either a really bad review, or they don't talk about the music. The music does so much when it comes to suspense. I'm the kind of person who notices background music, and it ruins things for me, and it's a curse. But this game did music so well that I only noticed it in the early game, when I knew something was going to happen. I remember this part. Oh no, I gotta act like I don't. The trope. But after that, I never noticed the music. It makes the game so much scarier, and does it masterfully. The crafting system was great. No materials were abundant, especially in the late game where you can't find Compound B anywhere, I swear. I'm sure all the tools you can craft are useful in their own right, but I never used them all as I never felt like I needed to, such as the smoke bomb or the flare, mainly because the noisemaker is just so good. However, I did notice that much of the loot is variable. I noticed this one, every time I died in the alien nest. The corpses every 5 steps along the way would have different, or no loot at all. I don't know how to feel about this, as you can just get unlucky and never find Compound B, like me, but it can add some variety between runs. One small gripe I had was with the minigame things. I'm not going to be some idiot who says they shouldn't be there because they're annoying. They are so good at creating suspense when you're trapped somewhere with the alien, and you have to enter a passcode or hack a door. But when you're in a safe spot, they only serve as an inconvenience. They don't add anything to game other than make the already long campaign even longer. Even on hard mode, I never found the game tough, aside from one certain part. And keep in mind this is coming from a masochistic Souls player. The facehuggers, humans, and androids were easy to avoid, so much so that I got multiple very rare achievements on my first playthrough for beating areas and not dying. After all, this was not the main focus of AI in the game, and the androids are supposed to be idiots. This is more of a problem when a fourth of the game features androids and only androids. There are 2 main things in the game that subtract from the suspense, the thing that makes this game so good. One is the flamethrower. Once you get it, many encounters with the alien change from hiding under a desk or in a locker to hiding behind the crosshair of the flamethrower. The biggest problem is that, if I ever felt like I was in a situation that was unsafe, I could easily blast it a couple times with almost no penalty. It is a get-out-of-jail-free card. The game delivers you with ammo, so you almost always gain back what you've lost, as well as providing you with a whopping 500 ammo at the start, which is about as much as is needed to scare off the alien 8 times over. I did run out of flamethrower fuel at one point, but I never needed it after I ran out. The alien is supposed to learn from experiences by hiding in vents and sneaking up on you, but it never did a good job. As long as you're careful, which you need to be if you ever want to beat this game, yeah, you can avoid these traps and not get snuck up on. I would be much happier if the game gave less fuel and made Molotovs, the other way of fending off the alien, the main focus. I think the Survivor minigame, the basement, handled it perfectly. They gave you 50 ammo, a little bit less than what's needed to fend it off, and put a bit of fuel around the map. Now as for the alien's AI. It is the best AI I have seen in video games, period. It has its flaws, all of which were design choices that did not resonate with me. One instance of this is the menace gauge, if I'm saying that right. I'm saying it wrong. Shut up! Which is like a suspense meter, and backstage mode, which is what the alien reverts to once the gauge is filled. The alien has 2 major modes of transportation: walking, self-explanatory, and venting, allowing it to quickly and loudly head to any of the other plentiful vents in the area, or just hang out in the vents, as it does in backstage mode. I hate the idea of it giving me a breather. I know it would be necessary for other gamers, but I want a constantly scary experience, rather than the alien backing into vents every 5 minutes to wank itself off, allowing me to briskly walk to the other side of the map. Another mechanic is the Director, an all-knowing being who tells the alien the player's general location. I feel like the game would be far more enjoyable if the menace gauge and backstage mode were removed, and the Director gave the alien a more broad area to search. That way, you're under constant pressure, while it's still being fair and allowing you to progress. There are, of course, areas where the alien is always in backstage mode, and those can stay. I think many of the problems could be solved by adding in very hard mode, where they don't limit the AI as much as they do in hard. After all, I do know many people would prefer it the way it is. There is a Nightmare mode, but it means no map and a broken motion tracker. One thing I like about Nightmare mode, though, is that it makes the flamethrower fuel run out quicker. After I beat the game, I did try out Nightmare mode, and the alien's AI was far better. It didn't ever go into backstage mode. I was like hiding around this one spot for 10 minutes and backstage mode just didn't happen. I really like that. But the Director seems to have remained the same. And you have to come up with different alternate routes to lure the alien to different areas to progress, which is a bit more of a chore, and you have to manipulate the AI more than what realistically would happen. But it was a lot better. The biggest complaint with the game I've heard is the progression in length. My run took 11 hours on hard mode. It takes most people 15. However, considering only a third of people that have beaten the game beat it on hard, it'll probably take longer than 15 hours for the average player to beat it on hard, the recommended difficulty. There are quite a few parts that should have been cut out, such as the warehouse mission and the mall mission that, if you played the game, you probably don't remember. They could have brought the game length from 15 hours to 10 while keeping it as good of a game as it is, if not better. This leads to another problem. A good portion of the game has no aliens in it. It's all androids and humans. Now, I don't know about you, but I bought this game for the Xenomorph. The alien is what makes this game so great. You remove the alien, and it's not a great game. So why did they do that? Not only that, but when they do come back, it's in the alien nest. The only place to hide in the alien nest is behind your flamethrower. After this point, it becomes less of a stealth horror game and more of an action game. There are far fewer places to hide, far less branching paths in the level design aside from one certain area, and the flamethrower is more important than ever. It was still a good area, but it can never compare to Mission 6, Medical Distributions. I will admit, everything with the androids after Apollo was great. It felt more like a generic stealth game though, with the cameras and everything. There was a part going back through sequence and communications that was very well designed in the late game, and it was a lot of fun. But it was not hard to just rely on the flamethrower. The story was good, there were a few really cool parts, but almost all the things Ripley, the main character, does don't work. She tried getting off Sevastopol 5 different times, I feel like. And after a certain point, it was a bit frustrating because you're not accomplishing anything. That's just me. It didn't actually bother me that much because the rest of the game was so fun. I know I've been saying a lot of negatives, but everything I have not mentioned is good, so there is a lot. I really like this game, and I'm excited to finish all the DLC with the alien, haha, and to play through the game on Nightmare. This game is definitely worth the $40 that it is. I really like this video format. I want to make a tier list of all the games I review, so it's like a big collection over time. It's a solid A tier. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please tell me by liking. If there are any games you want to see me play, please comment them down below.